All right.
So the microphone's good?
Microphone's good?
Okay.
Okay, all right. So this is my mother.
Hi.
Hello. I would rather have no one else on as my first guest.
Thank
okay,
you.
all right.
So when I was little, I didn't speak English.
Yeah.
Like a lot of immigrants.
Okay, yeah.
Their children
Yeah.
didn't speak English. And, you'd go down to purchase things like the stores down there, the butcher, the grocery store, everybody spoke Italian. Hardware store,
Yeah.
fish store.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I spoke very well. I didn't speak dialect at the time.
Okay.
But then I learned to speak dialect. So I really have 3 languages,
Yeah.
English, Italian, and the dialect.
Okay.
Yes, so that's fun. And I think that my earliest memory, you were asking that, and there are so many memories that came up,
Yeah.
one after the other. But I think one that sticks out the most is that I grew up in this really incredible Italian family.
Okay.
Because most of my grandparents, brothers and sisters, and there were 20 of them altogether, 13 on my grandfather's side and 7 on my grandmother's side, most of them immigrated to the States in the U.S. So I spent a lot of time in the U.S. And while here in Toronto, there were a lot of cousins. Like when we got together, there were dozens of people getting together.
Yeah.
And when we sat down at the table, there were like 24 people sitting down at the
Yeah.
table and kids running around. And so it was a really wonderful upbringing in that way. I'd like to talk about my mother and father. Thank you very much. Okay. I'd like to point out here that it wasn't an easy upbringing because my parents were very passionate.
Okay.
And when you get a lot of passion in a relationship, there's another side to it, where it could be argumentative. My father was a good-looking man, and there were a lot of ladies around. And my mother wasn't one of those women back then that kept quiet. Most women would just keep quiet. The man goes out, does what he likes.
All right.
But he comes home to his family.
Yeah, it was a
so
different
my
time
father
back
was
then.
coming
Yeah.
home to his family, but my mother wouldn't have what he was doing when he was out. And so
Fair enough.
I grew up with that. It does make an impression on a child.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like, I don't feel any sensitivities around that right now because, like I said, I've done a lot of work around it. Some people just go on in their lives and don't even pay attention to it. All the power to them. That's the way they'd like to do it. My father, he was a lot of fun. I loved being around him. But, with parents, what happens is one takes the side of being sort of the disciplinary, and the other one is more lackadaisy about things.
Okay.
And that was my dad. He
Okay.
was really, just fun.
Okay.
And my mother was very, very strict.
Gotcha.
Incredibly strict.
Balance there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah.
I
Well-
know that now, but I didn't know that back then. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
In regards to grandparents,
Oh, love
from
them.
what I know, you had
Love
a
them.
beautiful relationship. I got to meet one, mine and
Yeah.
Nina, loved her very much. But
Yeah.
No, for example, and them together or as a youth, how was that growing up?
It was amazing. I think my parents separated, so my dad moved back to Italy,
Yeah.
and my mom had to work a lot. So my grandparents raised me. Really, they were my parents. So I have this feeling towards elderly people that I think comes from my grandparents. I just love them. I think they have so much to share. They've experienced so much in life. And I know today it's more about youth, and they kind of don't pay attention too much to the elderly.
I don't think that's fair.
In Japan?
You have that attitude towards it.
do.
I think you
I
have.
do.
That's kind of. I mean,
Hey, listen, I'm feeling it now.
I know.
I'm feeling it.
But it's.
And the youth of today will feel it. It's just you get old. But I think that...
But to say that the youth of today doesn't think of the elderly.
No,
I mean, I
okay,
think
maybe
all
I
youth
should-
in general
Okay,
may
maybe-
not think of the elderly. At your youth,
okay, I
did you
should-
think of the elderly?
Well,
a
the thing
lot?
is that I'm doing my
Okay,
best
okay.
not to generalize.
Yes,
I don't
fair.
feel there are too many absolutes in life.
Yeah, there aren't exactly. Anyone who thinks there are.
Okay, let me
is
say
kind
that
of-
again. I don't feel there are too many absolutes in life.
Okay.
And I don't like to generalize, but I
Okay.
catch myself doing
Absolutely,
it sometimes.
absolutely.
So I'll say this, that I love the elderly.
Yeah.
They have so much to share.
Yeah.
They have experience. They have things that have happened in their lives that
Yeah.
if you listen to their stories, Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
there's just so much to learn.
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
it.
There's always a lot to learn
Yes, and there's
history
and then
and-
you experience empathy because some of them have gone through a lot of hard knocks and they've survived and they've gotten really really old,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have a great deal of respect there in that area.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I do. My
Um,
grandparents were amazing.
yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah, I know. You used to speak
Yeah.
very fondly, and
Yeah.
I loved Irene as well.
Yeah.
So that was.
Yeah, you're actually no, Nina is your great grandmother.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Technically,
Yeah.
my great grandmother.
And she loved you.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
great. She just had a lot of fun there.
Yeah.
We can talk about her in the future on something else. Where we talk
What
about
a
family.
character.
Yeah, lots to talk about there.
Yeah.
Let's look. How about growing with a sister? How was that?
My sister, it's interesting because we went through phases.
Yeah, of course,
you know?
as siblings do sometimes.
Yeah, but we loved each other a lot, and we were like sort of like partners in crime. You know, we did things, we accomplished things together. There was a time where, you know, when you're younger, you kind of push your younger sister away. You don't want her to be around.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I love her dearly.
So the whole school experience overall, you know, your boys had different experiences with that.
Yeah.
How was your good old fun school experience?
I really enjoyed school.
I know you did. That's why I say it
did.
like that. You loved it.
I know. A lot of people feel, and maybe one of the reasons is because my mom was so strict.
Yeah.
You know, but I loved going to school. And when September came around, I know people behave like, oh no, but not me. I was like revving to get back to school in September. Yeah, it was a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, a good time. A lot of parties. It didn't start off being that way, but that's what it became.
Well, when you got to high school, when it came to, you know, growing up, as we were saying, were there specific subjects that started to catch your interest because of, say, certain teachers? Was
Sure.
there an overall vibe of some
Yeah.
direction that you wanted to go in? What kind of, you know, got you in that direction,
I
if anything?
I really enjoyed law.
Law, okay.
Even studying the torts and just it really came easy.
Yeah.
And my mom used to say, "You could be a lawyer."
Oh, you know, it's...
no comment. But yeah, so I think that was wonderful, and also I enjoyed, you know, my drama class.
Drama,
which
okay.
was amazing.
All right.
And also art. I loved art.
Okay.
And I found out that I could draw, which
Okay.
was really amazing. That was
Okay.
fun.
As you were wrapping up high school, moving on to post-secondary education and such,
Yes.
what did you pursue? I know a little bit about it, but
fashion
I'd like to know more.
design.
I know, so I know a little bit about it, but what is it that got you there? So you were talking about having an enjoyment for law. You're talking about having an enjoyment for art, though, as well.
Yeah.
You're saying drawing. Was it the sketching of, you know, what was it about clothing? What was it about fashion that got you in it?
Well, you know, as a young girl, when you go to high school, the high school I went to,
Yeah.
it was commerce.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Commerce.
Yeah.
And the girls all dressed up. Like it
Okay.
was a fashion show walking down the hallway. It was crazy.
Okay.
So that was an influence. Just having to do that and seeing other girls, you know,
Yeah.
it was fun. And then there were two people I think that really influenced me in that direction, and that would be my aunt,
Okay.
who was I don't know if I'm close to this.
Oh, yeah,
enough.
there we go.
The chair keeps moving away.
Oh,
Can
no
you hear
worries.
me?
Yeah, you can get close.
Yeah,
I think
and
it
so
should be all right. I got the sound on there.
my aunt,
Yeah.
who was a designer, and she was amazing. I really, you had to see it to believe it.
Okay.
Just the detail, very very Italian.
So there's inspiration
design
from
and
home
a
then
lot of
as well.
inspiration from
Okay.
that. And also, I had a friend who lived very close to me, and she was interested in that, and so I think we sort of came together on that. And she had influence on me as well, on the college that I would go to.
Okay.
And although I moved away from that, and I took a year off.
So
And-
yeah, when it came to
yeah.
your post-secondary going to school for
Yeah.
fashion,
Yeah.
did you then pursue a career in fashion afterwards?
I did not.
You did not. Okay.
No,
Reason for that?
Life happens.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Yes. You know, you're saying that you want to do this because you want to have fun.
Yeah.
And I think there's a balance there.
Yes.
There's going to be things that come up that are fun and things that come up that are not so fun.
Yeah.
And I'd really like to discuss anything and everything.
Yeah.
I don't, there are no taboos for me. I really enjoy to talk about things, and I'm open about talking
Absolutely.
about things.
And that being said, you know, there will be many more podcasts, as we've talked about before,
Sure.
where we'll talk about certain subjects and such.
Okay.
This one, we're going to
Yeah,
keep to being more about you, but we
Yeah.
will talk about everything and anything. When I say
Sure.
fun, I don't mean that the subject matter here has to be fun
Yes.
all the time.
Okay. Okay.
I find fun in a lot of, messed up stuff as well. So it's just like,
I don't know if that's
being able to take
it's
time.
Fun if you can get
it's
through
not
it.
taking fun of someone's pain. It's just like,
Yeah.
the experience of going through that and talking about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Because I think it
can
reaches-
be good for both
Yes.
parties. You
Yeah.
can get something off your chest. I can learn something from you.
Yes.
I may make something clear to you that you didn't see before. I enjoy the conversation.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Is to talk about just about everything and anything.
Yeah.
It'll who knows how it'll shape up as it goes.
Yeah.
It might be like, right now, the idea of just kind of starting straight with interviews and wanting to get to know people better and maybe have them on a second time and do a conversation there. I don't know. But
Yeah.
all that matters is that I want to be having fun doing it.
Yes.
I'm not going to just, strictly look to making this a serious podcast where I only want to talk to a certain type of person
Yeah.
about a certain subject matter. I want to talk about everything, but at the same time, having fun with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's this. But I think more so what you were talking about is doing something as a career.
Yeah.
And getting into certain arts.
Yes.
I understand you saying that like it can feel that way, but at the same time, just doing them for fun and not having great expectation.
I'll tell you something.
Of what
I don't.
you're worried about or whatnot.
I'm not. I think in life, what I've learned to this point is that there's a balance there, and people that have fun will also tell you that there's some really hard times that come along as well.
Absolutely.
And the thing is that most people want to just live one side of life and they want to be happy all the time. They want to have fun all the time. But life, I don't believe, is that way. Even the people that can have the most fun and don't have any responsibilities, they have a hard time too. They just don't show people. But they have things that they're going through. Everybody does. It's up and down. It's a balance between the two. And so I think that yes, we're going to have fun doing this because I get to speak to you.
There we go. Sure.
And
Yeah.
share things with you. And we're not going to yell at each other.
No. No, that'd be entertaining, but that's not the plan. You know what I mean? It's about
Because we're both very passionate individuals, and I know that the three of us, you, your brother, and I.
And he's going to join us for these as well
Yeah.
at times.
Well,
what I mean?
we're
That's the thing too.
we're
I
very
look forward to having
similar.
him here as well.
Yeah.
To start off right now, this one-on-one idea, having him in, next, starting off with the two of you, getting to know my family, getting to know friends one-on-one. I like the idea of starting off like that. And then basically everyone who I have on here, I would love to have on again. Sort of thing, right?
That's great.
And I think with you and I, we already have so many things that we want to talk about that'll be fun and this and that.
Okay.
But
I wanted to mention that with the three of us, we have so much in common, and we all want to take the lead that we end up going in the opposite direction. We're kind of going like this. You and your brother together, and me going my way. But wait, let me finish. I think what happens there is that we're individuals, and we talk about things, and really, a lot of the times when we have disagreements, we're talking about the same thing. And we have so much in common. Like, really, I look back on those times, and I feel like, why did that go that way? It was just we were really talking about the same thing.
Yeah, arguments will go down that way sometimes.
And I'll tell you something else. I think sons have to disentangle themselves from their mother. That's really important. And so I'm learning that as well. I don't treat you like little kids anymore.
Yeah.
You're men. But when you were kids, I treat you like little men. We discuss things.
Yep.
We always discuss things. I don't think I ever punished you. When did I ever punish you? You did the worst things, like in trouble. You were in trouble, and I was upset, but I wanted to talk about it.
All right.
Yeah, and you would say to me, if I wanted to say something to your brother about, don't do that, or I'm going to, I'll do something about it. You'd say, oh, she's not going to do a thing. No, because I didn't want to punish you, send you to your room without dinner or something.
Well, you know what? Yeah. You were a great mother growing up.
Well, I don't know if I was a great mother. No, I won't take that.
I would go as far.
Both.
Sure, sure. Do you have a favorite joke that you'd be able to share right now off the top of your head? If not, no worry. The pressure of thinking the full joke all the way through. But, it's just something that comes to mind.
Well, it comes to mind because we were telling jokes a few days ago
to
perfect. Friends.
Perfect. There we go.
And I told that joke because it was the first one that came to mind. But it's, what's the difference between a Jewish mother and an Italian mother?
Okay, go on.
And that's a good one because I'm a mother,
yeah.
right? Okay, so the Jewish mother will say, eat that, or I'll kill myself.
Okay.
Okay, but the Italian mother will say, eat that, or I'll kill you.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. You have to be Italian to really like that joke, maybe. Some people will say, what? and really frown on that and not like the joke. But I thought it was funny. And I heard that like decades ago, long time ago.
All right.
But it stayed with me. And then there's a lot of dirty jokes that I know that I would not say here. You know?
Here, we'll skip on to shows.
I like the female comedians as well. And I can't name one off the top of my head.
I gotta make sure I mention the female comedians as well. I can't name one,
no,
but I love the female comedians.
It's true. I do. I just don't watch them enough.
Okay,
I've
been a fan of female comedians over the years, and most recently,
like I love oh, why am I taking so long to say this name? I just love her.
Oh, okay. This is great, you know.
This is terrible. You're gonna have to edit this out.
This part I feel like I almost have to keep in.
No. It's fun because we're doing this together.
Okay, well,
but we're speaking over an array of topics.
Absolutely.
You know?
It talk about a very serious subject then.
Well, we don't have to go to the extreme.
If this microphone
yes.
was a genie,
yes,
and you could ASMR.
Yes, I have so many wishes.
3 wishes.
3 wishes?
3 wishes, top of your head. Anything and everything is on the table. What are your 3 wishes that you would ask a genie right now?
I'm going to be like Tiny Talent Time. When I was a child in the Cold War, most of those kids that had talents would go and play the piano or the violin or something or sing something. And then they would be asked a question by the host, you know, what would you wish for in the world? And they would say, we want world peace. Well, I'm going to sound like Tiny Talent Time. I would love to see that the world is more peaceful. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
That's one wish.
That's one. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the second wish is that...
I like that. That's fair. You know, that's great. It's beautiful. It'll be interesting to see how many people go down that road. Because you came from a genuine sort of like, sort of feeling. Or
most people don't know what Tiny Talent Time is.
Well, I mean, perhaps you came from just an experience. But, you know, your heart's there for wanting peace for the world, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is it?
Of course.
No, I'm joking. But your next two. Get more... what do you want for yourself?
For myself.
If you want to have, maybe I'll change this question.
Okay, the next 2 will be for myself.
Okay, for yourself. And maybe I'll change this up in the future and ask you. But in regards to make it easier for you, let's say an object, something, something stupid that you wouldn't want to waste your money on. Or...
I'm not thinking about too many material
things. Okay, well, perfect. So in regards to
I think it's more...
for your next 2 wishes...
Yeah.
Whatever. So moving on to your next 2 wishes, then what else? What else would you wish for?
So my next wish is that I'm doing something that I really enjoy, and if there's going to be challenges coming up, I'll do it because I love it. Okay. So choosing something, I'm in the same boat as a lot of young people, because you come out of university and then you wonder, what am I going to do now? And so coming out of so many decades of responsibilities, I think that now I'm at this point, well, what am I going to do? So I'd like to choose something that I really can, sink into and make it worthwhile.
All right.
Yeah. And then my 3rd wish would be to have a place in the country here in Canada. I love Canada. Love this country.
When it comes to waking up in the morning, getting you out of bed, what gets you going?
My rebounder.
You're a rebounder. Okay.
Now I think I'm going to get back into meditating. I think it's important because I just recently learned that when you wake up, that is the most perfect time to meditate because you're in this sleep stage. I'm learning about theta and data and whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
I still haven't learned too much.
Yeah,
I have to get that down.
Yeah.
But we're at this place where the subconscious is really open. And so that's the perfect time to meditate. And so I think I'm going to start doing that and then rebound. I love my rebounder. I bounce. Yes.
The bouncing, for anyone who doesn't know what that is,
it's the greatest form of exercise.
It's a mini trampoline for exercise.
Gosh. I've
used them. It was great for losing weight. It's great for your joints and for running and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. I don't sell them, but oh my gosh, tell everybody to buy one. Everyone. It exercises every single part of your body, even your eyelashes. The cells in your eyelashes go open and close, open and close. It's really amazing. It's the best form of exercise.
All right, so you enjoy rebounder. When it comes to other things in life that you're grateful for, what comes to mind right now at this point in your life? Being grateful, having that gratitude that pushes you forward.
I have books.
Books, great
for gratitude.
Yeah. There we
Yes,
go.
because that's a good thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just read something yesterday that when you're grateful, this opens you up to miracles.
Okay.
Okay? I don't know. People don't believe in miracles out there, maybe, but I've had miracles happen.
Right.
You know, things that you never thought would happen, and they did. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on anything of that, or we'll save that for another time, or?
Maybe another time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, how about in regards to what's something that you're proud of that you don't, have the
I'm proud of my
opportunity?
boys.
Okay, great. Yes, but what's something that you're not, let's say a subject matter that you're, what is something that you're proud of
I'm
that you
proud
don't
of-
often have the opportunity to share with people? Do you have a certain hobby or something that you do?
Well,
that,
you know what comes to mind? I think that I'm proud of being able to study on my own.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's one wonderful thing that's come from having a computer is that, I mean, you can't believe everything you read, but you decipher things, you go through things and figure out what strikes a chord in you.
Well,
Because the truth right now is like, what is the truth?
well,
You
here,
know?
with that being said, do you enjoy challenging, your own assumptions and beliefs?
Yeah, because, well, of course, because it was very important to me a number of years ago to learn things about air.
Okay.
And,
Air
because
quality?
I've studied water for 30 decades,
Yep.
and all the things about water. And really, there's not too much to know. After you go through it all, you realize, like, this is the bottom line. But I think air is so important, and so I've learned things about ozone and, negative ions, the fact that we are electrical. We are. You don't think about that, but we are. Our cells need electricity to live.
It's a big electrical soup.
Yes, it is. Just so everybody knows out there, as dark as it gets, as dark as it gets, like you could be really, really low. Tomorrow will come and, the sun will shine. And so you can just hold off just a little bit longer until the next day because it's just things look different.
Okay.
Look different the next day or the next day after that. Maybe
Absolutely.
sometimes it goes on for weeks, but you really need to learn how to process yourself out of it. And most of it's in the mind. The mind is so powerful, and you got to get out there and get sunshine. And I know sometimes it's been hard for us.
I agree with that.
But just even at your window, look at the sunshine because it gives your body what it needs, and your pituitary glands need the sunshine.
Okay. I completely agree with that.
It affects your moods.
This is my first summer where through, that experience of you telling me, hey, the sun's super important. I've always been more of a nighttime person, and this summer was the first summer where I purposely got out in the sun to tan.
Yeah.
And not
you don't need too much.
Not for the appearance.
You
It
don't
was
need
more
too
so
much.
just to lay out in the sun, almost
Yeah.
a meditative state of just lying out there. And I tested it at first just to try it, just to lay out and relax because I was having a stressful day the first time. But it felt like being a battery out there,
Oh my
getting
God,
charged.
it's amazing.
And it
we've
felt
been
so
starved.
good.
We've been starved of sunshine. In my day, it was like, there was advertisements coming out that, it's dangerous. What dangerous?
Well, I mean, I'm
Our
sure
vegetables need it. We're like vegetables. We need sunshine too.
That was one of the things that was pointed out where they
can
say you
eat it or you
different
can get it.
spectrums of the color spectrum through
Yes,
vegetables, and when
yes.
you're out there in the sun, you're getting all the spectrum at once.
That's right, and you need all that color. And I think it keeps a person more colorful.
It does. It was something that I didn't expect of myself. I was never one to enjoy laying on the beach.
I know.
I can't stand being like that. But when I incorporated it as part of my day, the same way as incorporating meditation or any sort of morning routine,
Yes.
I didn't like how I felt when I didn't get sun.
Yeah.
There were days when I overdid it. There were days where I would be up there for 3 hours, and that's ridiculous,
No,
right?
that's too much.
But those days where I went up there for a half an hour, quick up there,
Well,
half an hour, 45 minutes,
yes.
that felt great. And when I didn't do that, I felt off.
Yeah.
But man, it's something that with the winter coming up, the idea of getting more, I suppose, what is it, UV lights? Getting those lights for inside. No, I don't want that. I want to be outside in the sun more. Even though it's cold, I want to be outdoors.
Yes.
And that's one thing that with being in Canada for the foreseeable future, I'm excited to see more of my country than I'd seen before, right? Oh. So to embrace the winter more outside of Toronto, because not a big fan of winter in Toronto anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of
But
sick and tired
make
of it.
friends with it.
This year is the first year where I have said I'm enjoying the cold weather coming. Sorry, but go on. You were going to say?
No, but I think it's important to not see it as, oh, that time of the year, I can't stand that time of the year. And I used to do that. Sure, I look at the humidity and the heat, and it's just, I don't do well with that.
I love humidity.
But yeah, but you know, I look at you and I think, okay, I just need to climatize. And that's what's most important. If people understand that their bodies need to climatize, like taking cold showers. It's so important to take cold showers. Listen, I'm not going to say too many things that isn't getting out there in the world. Like, we're on the internet now and everybody talks about everything and anything. But when you have experience doing something and you feel you've gotten benefits from it, you want to share it with people. So I'm saying to people what maybe they've already heard. I'm not saying anything new. It's just that I'm sort of saying, well, you know, it does work. It's pretty amazing. And also to just make friends with all the seasons if you live in Canada. So there's things that you can do in every single season. And there's also a thing where your body climatizes and you don't have to be at odds with it. Like even the rain. The rain is amazing. A lot of Canadians stay inside when it rains. You don't see people walking around. That's the best time to get out.
A beautiful, warm sun shower or, you know, getting caught in the rain in the summer. I love that.
But if you have proper gear on, you have proper
No,
clothing?
no proper gear, as long as it's warm.
What if it's cold?
If it's really cold, if you're out in the fall and it starts to rain, no, that sucks.
No, why?
If you have an umbrella, yes, but getting caught in the rain, no.
Okay, now we're talking something different.
Okay, yes, fair enough.
So
fair enough.
it's like you need to prepare yourself for the weather that's coming up. And so I have a tendency of, as soon as I have a chance to, like it's usually before I get dressed, I look at the weather and I see what's happening today. And you can't always trust what's on there, you know? But if it's like, for instance, if it says it's going to be a cloudy, sunny day, right? It shows you, right? So you know that one big cloud, dark cloud, a cumulus cloud, I think it's cumulus they call it. Well, anyway, one big dark cloud is going to come along and it will burst on one part of the city. So you want to maybe bring an umbrella.
All right.
Or dress accordingly.
So talking about being prepared as we've gone on a great seasonal tangent there, that's fine. Let's look at being prepared and taking care of yourself, you know. We'll skip ahead here to basically the idea of self-care. And regards to daily routines, you talked about using the rebounder. When it comes to keeping active physically, you walk a lot. You mentioned meditating. What other things do you do that you would recommend to other people when it comes to preparing yourself to tackle life every day? Do you have a certain recommendation for a morning routine? Do you feel there are certain things that everyone should partake in, or at least that's a bad way to put it for me. Forget the idea of anything for everyone to do. What works for you?
It's because it's a personal thing.
Exactly.
So what works for me is changing it
up.
What
Absolutely.
I do is I start with one protocol, and then maybe 3 months, 6 months, a year later, that's not working for me anymore. You know, and I find myself changing this protocol more often. Right now, I'm sort of on a protocol where I'm going to sleep earlier, and especially because it's the winter's coming. And then you wake up earlier. Like I'm waking up at 3:00 in the morning, and that time is, I love that time. Everybody is sleeping. It's quiet, and you get to do things. And I think that some people, not all people, but some people are very artistic at that time in the morning. And I've done my best work at that time. So I'll say that waking up early is great. I'm not one to sleep in. I really feel like, I think it's important for us to understand our bodies. It's important that we attempt new things. And if something works for us, great. We'll keep it. If it doesn't, let it go. You know, but the thing where something that works for me will definitely work for you, no. I can't go there.
Yep, I agree with that.
You know, and I think it's important to just keep an open mind, be prepared for changes, to change it up, you know, and just allow yourself to be at optimum health, you know. We could really get into that.
We can get into that, and we will. I think that was a nice little first little touch into it, that really at the end of the day, what matters is figuring things out on your own. Listening to different people's advice and seeing what works for you.
I have a real issue because of something I experienced as a young child, well, a young child and a young woman, where I realized that I just was asking a lot of questions. And so for my health, I've always asked a lot of questions. Okay. So I go to my doctor, and if she wants to suggest something, she knows me very well. She says, well, I am going to suggest this, but I know you're not going to do it.
Yeah,
but, you know,
okay.
I'm here to suggest this anyway. And I love her for that, because then I can go off and just do my own thing.
Okay.
You know, and I think that healing is a very personal thing.
Absolutely.
You know, and you need to listen to your body.
Well, you know, I do want to dive into that more in the future.
Yeah,
and
I think
talk
so.
about
I
nutrition
think that's,
and health, because, you know, there's many things
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to share with other people that,
Yeah, I
like I
think-
said, not that I recommend, but
Yes.
that I can say that this has worked for me.
Yes.
This has worked for you.
Yes.
That's what I think a lot of the things that we'll be sharing in the future, you know, to put it out there that way, it's what's worked for us. This is how I've done it, how you've done it, how you've taught me to do it,
Yeah.
what I've learned and changed up on my own,
Sure.
and whatnot, right? All right.
Okay.
Fan of psychedelics?
Me?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm talking.
Oh.
I'm talking.
Are we going to talk about psychedelics?
I mean, we're touching on the subject of drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, you can.
Sure. I'll
you know.
say that I did have an experience as a young girl. I had a friend here. She was from South Africa. I won't name her name. I just loved her.
Okay.
I went off to Ohio for a month, and when I came back, she was living with us. And so she was staying in my room. And so she did a lot of acid.
All right.
Like, I mean, every day. I don't know how she managed to do that, but she was the happiest person I ever met.
Okay.
You know? And so she said to my sister and I if we wanted to try it, and then we said, sure. It was the most incredible experience, but I realized there was a danger, and I wouldn't do it again. No. But I had the most, like, I understand, like, people like Steve Jobs, you know, I've heard, I read his book, and I've heard that what he would do is talk to people, and then he'd ask them, you know, have you done acid?
Yeah.
And they'd say, no. I said, well, go do acid and then come back and talk to me. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But I think that it really, really opens up your mind. But you have to also understand that it's important to do it with people that are around you that can buffer it if need be, because it's not always
Well put. That's
the
a,
best
you know,
trip.
that's fair
But
enough.
I was lucky. I had an incredible trip. I saw myself for the first time, which was shocking. I'd never seen myself that way before. I was always down on myself as a young girl. You know, you just kind of pick at things. Oh, I'm not pretty. I'm not this. I'm not that. But I saw something that was really wonderful, and I like myself. Since that high, I started liking myself. And also my sister, she was, you know, the three of us, it was hilarious. I saw things, religious things. I also saw horrible things. And I remember Lena reaching out to me saying, you do know we're high on acid. I said, sure, I know. Because I looked over and I said, your face, you look like the extra says you got gashes on your face. She says, it's okay, right? It's okay. Yeah, I'm okay. And now, oh my goodness, your face is peeling away. And now your skeleton, and that's when she reached over and said, you know, relax.
There we go.
Yeah, but it was okay. And then it just, you have to know that when you are on psychedelics, there's still a part of your mind that can hold on to reality. Some people just get all, like, really, sometimes spooked and get nervous about it, and because they have to let themselves go.
Let's talk about death. Something more fun.
Fun.
You know what I mean? How does it make you feel talking about death?
I'm not ready to die.
No.
And I think that, but it's interesting because I have this friend of Russian descent, and I just love her. We talk about stuff, and we get really, like, upset about things, right? And then we're going back and forth, and then finally we just look at each other, right? And we just say, really? Does it really matter? Like, okay, and so what's the worst case scenario? We'll die. And we crack up laughing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there's a lot of things that we do not know about death.
Yes.
And people say,
course.
oh, you know, some people say they've been there, they've come back, and whatever you want to believe, whatever floats your boat. Personally, I just feel like I don't know what's going to happen after we die.
That is fair.
You know, and also, who's to say that this is the greatest place to be, you know?
Yeah.
Because this is a very dense place to be. I mean, even the oxygen that we breathe is killing us. If you take an apple and leave it somewhere, after you've bitten it, it starts to turn brown. That's the oxygen decaying that apple. And so we need oxygen to live. And at the same time, it is making us old. You know?
Oh.
So what is this place? So, and really,
Okay.
like, where have we been? Where are we going? Can anybody really answer that question? Okay. And so I think laughter, when laughter comes in, when you're talking about dying,
Yeah.
I think that's the place to be.
Absolutely.
You know, just
Absolutely.
be there. It's just the way we die. You know, that's scary.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
God forbid, and yes, the universe forbid, whatever. When I see those people falling off from the buildings in 9/11, that just, you know, but then
Yeah.
I think the body goes into shock.
Yeah.
The body goes into shock.
Yeah.
And you know, so if anything horrible would happen, you'd want the body to go into shock. You
Yeah.
know? But at the same time, it's like maybe, you know, I think for a lot of people, the death signifies suffering. And well, we've had a life of suffering.
Yeah.
And you know, if people haven't suffered through their life, they may suffer through dying.
Yeah.
Or it may be done quick, you
Yeah.
know, and that would be great. Like some people have, it's just so many different ways of dying. Okay, I don't know if your brother's going to bring this up, and it's great, you know, if he does. I hope he does. But he taught me something from when he was very young.
Okay.
Because at 4, he was talking about dying. Oh, Mommy,
Okay.
you're going to die. Hey, listen to that song. And then when I hear that song and you're dead, I'm going to be so sad. And it's like, yeah. And I would say, like, where is this?
Yeah.
Where is this child coming
Yeah.
from? And I'd say to him, listen, honey, why don't we think about living? Let's not think about dying.
Yeah.
Let's think about living. Then he was 4.
Yeah.
And then around 15, I'll never forget this. We were walking along the street and he said, you know, I think I finally figured it out. And he said, about dying. And I said, really? So he said, I think everybody's doing it. So it must be okay.
Okay.
Like, really? You know, I don't know if he would say that on a podcast with you, but I had to say it because it made such an impression on me, and that's what small children do.
Okay,
You
yeah.
know, they make such an impression on
Yeah.
you, and so that really
Well, they're
impressed
so
upon me
innocent with
that-
with what they say, and they're honest, right?
Yes,
That's the one
yes.
thing about being around kids is that, like, you know,
Yes.
talking with
Well, they haven't been indoctrinated yet.
yeah, talking with
you know?
with Kyle, obviously my friend Kyle's kid. He's great. Just talking to him at a barbecue once, I was like, wow, it's been so long since I've talked to a kid, I guess.
Yeah.
And I forgot that, like, really, they're just, like, straightforward, honest.
Yes.
You know, a lot of the time, like, they're not trying to impress with what they're saying. It's not like a
Yep.
conversation you have with
Yep.
someone at a bar. It was
Yeah.
just like, this is great. Talking about everything from school,
It's so raw,
life.
so
you know.
in your face,
Yeah,
you
it was
know,
someone
and
tried to
it
come
just,
in and
you
talk with
know,
us. We kind of looked
yeah.
at them. They weren't really keeping up, so we just kept on talking, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I'd like to have him on a podcast sometime. That'd be great.
Oh my gosh, that would be
That would be right.
wonderful. Yes,
Okay,
that
once.
would be.
Yeah, all right.
He's a beautiful child.
He
I
is.
really love him.
Do you have an afterlife? How do you feel about that? What do you think happens when you die?
Well,
what
you know,
comes to mind?
it's really interesting you asked that because right now I'm really getting into now,
Yeah.
and doing what I need to do, and hopefully that will.
I agree.
the
That's much
future.
more important.
Yes,
Much more important
because-
than having
yeah.
your mindset in now and not what
Yeah.
happens after. Sure.
Exactly.
But like,
Okay.
how about this?
No, no, I have an answer.
Okay.
Okay. So the thing is that I can't go back and look at past lives anymore. I'm just not into it. You know, I kind of entertained that for a bit, you know, and it was interesting, but I can't go back there. I'm not interested in that. And then when I think about what happens after we die, well, I don't know. And I don't often say I don't know because I think deep down inside we know everything. But it's just, you know, I'm here now. And I'm really beginning to realize how important it is to do what we need to do now. Yes.
Okay.
Because we started talking quite some time ago, and
Yeah.
it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We're here now.
Enjoy the now. But heaven and hell, though. Heaven and hell. What are your
Heaven
thoughts?
and
On,
hell?
what are your thoughts on the idea of heaven and hell?
Well,
when it comes,
because
because bring back to religion and the idea of if you do believe in a god, perhaps, or whatnot, do you believe in what organized religion calls a heaven and hell?
I think what I've learned from everything that I've studied is that, and I was raised a Roman Catholic, so there's heaven and hell, and a lot of what you do is based on that, but you still do bad things, you know, and then you go to church and they forgive you, and then you go out and do it again. But I think now I realize that in some ways, right here and now, it is heaven and hell. Okay, so this is how I feel about it, is that I don't know if there's a heaven and hell. I know that my childhood was based on that, and that you didn't do things because you wouldn't go to heaven, you know, but you did bad things anyway. Then you go to church, and they forgive you. You say your whatever those prayers, they give you so many prayers and Hail Marys and Our Fathers, and then you come out and you're refreshed and you just go back and do the same bullshit again. You do the same mistakes again and you hurt people and you do all this stuff. So it's interesting. I'd like to bring something up because I have a friend who said to me that when they were young girls, they're twins, and she said to me her mother used to tell her a story, both of them a story, and it went like this. So you're up in heaven, okay, and you prepare yourself and you come down to earth. And then while you're here, some people do horrible things. They kill and they do terrible things and hurt people, and then other people love and they show kindness and okay. But you do things to each other, okay? So when it's all said and done, you go back up to heaven and you shake hands and say, well, job well done. I just love that for years. It would make me laugh and make me so happy.
Okay.
So now, having said that, I feel that heaven and hell is here on earth. Okay. And I feel that my belief right now is such that I don't entertain other things so much, and that I'm learning. Like, we never really stop learning. We don't, and I feel that, there's something I was getting to and I lost it again. But it's that thing about being here, and it's heaven and hell here on earth. And I think that we're responsible for our actions.
I think absolutely as well.
Yes, yeah. There's one thing that was really important to me was karma.
Okay.
Karma. Oh, it's karma. And then I think, wait a second. But I read something years ago that was just absolutely wonderful, because, and I wish I could quote who it was, but it was just, I think it was an article, and I was reading through it, and they said that, people that look at karma, okay, you look at it in this way, that whatever you do in this life, you'll come back and suffer because of it. But it's not, I don't believe it's that way. It could be another way as well. And what I like to believe, okay, is that we do something in this life, okay? And what we do, like, for example, what we do to another person, that is our karma. What another person does to us, to hurt us, to do all those things, that's not our karma. That is their karma. Okay? So then what happens is, when you go through it that way, you realize that it's going to come back. And it may not necessarily come back in another life. Because maybe this is all there is. And this is where we work out our karma right here. So if you're doing something to someone that is not okay, then you better be prepared that somewhere in life, something will happen to you in a different form. It's not going to be exactly the same. And most people don't recognize it. Like, why did this happen to you? Well, what did you do in the past? Did you ever make someone feel that way? Did you ever affect someone in that way? Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
And
so
I also tend to believe that more than looking at afterlife.
Well, exactly. Let me touch back on that. I will
here.
completely agree with the whole idea of this being heaven and hell. Not completely agree again, but I do agree with this being,
you can entertain that,
heaven or hell here, and what you make it. It is what you make it, right?
Personal,
you can look around and you can see, this is a hell for many people, as you can look around and see that's a heaven for many people. And for yourself in life, and it's both, there are those who will blame their surroundings for their current life, or you'll have those who take responsibility and push themselves forward. Let's talk about magic and the occult. Have you ever had an interest? Have you ever dabbled in magic? Have you ever practiced? Have you
If you look
any
at
interest?
my bookcase, it's all about human nature, childhood development, and I was very heavily into the occult.
Okay.
It was just a fun thing to do when I was younger, and I got into astrology, and I read some really crazy books, but it felt so right reading those books. It was like, oh my God, this is incredible. Oh my God.
Okay.
Really, it was so much fun. I had fun with it. But then I realized there was another side to it that's very dark as well. So in astrology, if you look at somebody's chart, right, everything is there, but you can see how someone would have an easier life than someone else. My chart is not an easy life, even though there's wonderful things about my chart, and there's been wonderful things about my life. There's both. There's dark and light. And And the occult, it's just something, it's something to experience. Like, you know, a lot of people get really bent out of shape about, oh, they've been into the occult. What are you doing? It's
Yes,
just, you know,
you go.
you're learning something. It's just something different. You know, if you're going to be an extremist, then you might have a problem. But if you're dwelling in it for a while and just learning something, it makes you the person that you become. So you're a little more well versed in so many different areas. I like that. I don't like to be in just, you know, in a linear, like living my life in a linear way. It's just not who I've been, and I don't think it's who the two of you are.
I love that. That's a great way to put it.
It's just, you know, you sometimes dabble in things.
I mean, I'm not knowledgeable about magic and the occult.
Yes, I was a white witch. Yes, I was, and it was really to protect my family, and my mother did it too.
Yeah.
In Italy, yes, she did it too. She did all kinds of weird things with our clothing, and she'd sew things into our clothing.
Well,
she used herbs. And all kinds of
so
stuff.
these are things that
So
I
did
have
that.
had tremendous interest in, and I guess
Yes.
it's in me to have this interest, as you know, possibly passed down from you and your mother. For myself, though, I, as a youth, you know, had a few experiences that, you know, have been shared and Lucio would know with this and that, but, you know, never really dabbled as much as I'd wanted to. And over the past few years, have been very interested in it a lot more. And during this time, you know, talking with my brother about it and his fears of once you go down certain roads, and then the opposite of talking to someone who has practiced for years. Once again, second shout out on the first podcast to Douglas Blatcher. Someone like that who is a, you know, that's, you know, the idea of shoot, I completely distracted myself on that. What was I just saying before that? Fuck.
That's okay. I think we're getting a little lightheaded. 2 hours is a long time to talk.
We're almost done.
You're talking 45 minutes an hour.
Yeah,
That's cool.
we're almost done.
Yeah,
we're almost
but 2
done.
hours is.
And then.
I need sustenance.
So then, you know, if we're talking about magic and, you know, you bringing up being a white witch and such, and the idea.
Well, don't call me a white witch.
Well,
I don't see myself
okay.
as a white witch.
So
Because my hair and everything, like I've scared some kids, you know, on the street. Yes, you know, and I said, and I made it worse. This one boy said, "You look like a witch," and I said, "Yes, I am." And I take my broom out and I can pick you up if you want to go for a ride. Right? It didn't go over very well.
That's fun. That's great.
Know?
I love it.
Well, it's just I'm talking about white magic.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a witch. It's just that I went into that and I did it for protection.
Well,
it was
there we
all
go.
about protection, burning candles, using certain, you know,
that is where my
symbols
interest lies, is the idea of, you know, when I talk
but
to...
I don't like the dark side.
Yeah,
but
the thing is, when I talk to certain people, they'll be like, no, you can't do any good. It's all bad. It'll all lead down a bad road. And I think that's ridiculous.
No, that's
so,
not true.
you know, when I think of most recent years of me showing interest in it and having friends, you know, one friend in particular, again, for Doug and What Magic Is This podcast, learn more about magic there. It is interesting to me to do it in a way where now, you know, that I'm not young and wanting as much.
Yes.
I don't have the fear of wanting to do this to get this, doing this to get that. Not in a greedy sort of way. My ideas of wanting to use it in a how you put it, protecting your family and things like that, right?
Yes.
So I mean, I don't have any experience with it. You know, you talk about your experience. We can talk about it later.
I just found as time went on, like it made me feel better that I was doing those things.
Yeah.
You know, because Italians are really into this whole kind of like, you know, symbols, and they're very what's the word I'm looking for? They have a tendency of like, what is it when you don't open an umbrella in the house? What are those
superstitious.
things called?
Superstitions,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'll say this.
Yeah.
Italians are very superstitious, or they were.
Yeah.
Or not all of them, but some of them are very superstitious. And there's also Jamaicans. They are too. And God love them. I've talked to some Jamaicans, and I feel like, oh my gosh, that's so Italian.
Yeah.
But it's just, if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
It makes you feel better. I don't know how much power it has, but it did make me feel better. I did sleep better at night.
Okay. All right. Well,
That was fun.
that was fun, right?
Yeah, that was.
I think that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get too, you know, deep and
We didn't get
serious,
too deep
you
and
know?
serious into
No.
it. We can get deep and
We
serious in the future. Like I said, we're going to be doing, you know, plenty more,
Because it might
you and
become
I.
more of a debate. It might become more...
We'll have
like,
fun
you're
with
not
things
going
in
to
the
agree
future.
with
We'll
me
see.
all the time.
We'll
and
see. For our first podcast, I had a lot of fun. It was
cool.
great. I love you very much.
I love you
I
too.
thank you for all of the guidance and wisdom you've shown me. And
oh my goodness!
As we move forward,
thank you for all the guidance and wisdom you've shown me.
as we move on and have more podcasts, people will see us sharing more back and forth, and I think it'll be fun. So, thanks for watching and listening to the podcast, and look forward to having many more with you.
Okay.
I love you.
Ciao. Love you too. I'm a little bit shy,
Yeah.
So, but if I get going, watch out.
Thank you.